Howard, thanks for your time.
Well, good evening, Brian, and thank you very much for your kind invitation.
Perhaps for the last time.
Are you leaving, Brian? I'll be sorry to hear if you are.
It must be nearly time for bed for you.
Well, it's a wearying time, Brian. It's rather exhausting, but very stimulating, and of course, you know, that's the nature of this job.
Do you think it'll be close Saturday?
I do think it'll be close. I think it'll be very close indeed.
You've been running an enormous scare campaign this last week, haven't you?
No, we haven't, Brian. What we've been doing is running an information campaign, Brian, getting our vital message out there. We've got policy initiatives.
Prime Minister,
we want to put them in front of the Australian voters, Brian.
You've been saying that if Kevin Rudd gets in, the country will be run by unions.
Well, I mean, that's not a rumour, Brian. That's not a rumour. That is a fact.
Who is it run by now?
The country?
Yes.
Well, you know, big money and business and so on. You know where you are with them, Brian. I mean, that's why it's been going so well.
You said that it's not the time to entrust Kevin Rudd with the economy.
Very important point, Brian, and thank you for raising it. This is not the time, Brian, to try untested leadership with that vital element of the economy.
And you're tried and tested, are you?
Oh, yes, you know where you are with us, Brian.
6 interest rate rises in 4 years.
Brian, it could only be worse under Labor. No matter how terrible we are,
you keep saying
they will
this.
be worse. I mean, that's the key point. This is not the time to take that risk.
You keep saying this, but what is the reason for that? I mean, you can't know this as a fact. I mean, when you were Treasurer, for example, interest rates were the highest. Mr. Howard, what are you doing? What are you doing? Mr. Howard, on the questions of policies, Mr. Howard. Oh, Mr. Howard, stop it. This is just theatrics. Stop it.
Julia Gillard.
What's your argument about Julia Gillard?
Julia Gillard.
Yes, I know. What's Julia Gillard?
She's got red hair. Have you ever seen her, Brian? You ever seen a photograph of her?
Yeah, she's got red hair.
Julia Gillard's got red hair.
Have there been red-haired people in government before, Mr. Howard? Mr. Howard? Mr. Howard? Mr. Howard, if work choices was any good, why would you promise not to keep bringing it in?
Look out!
It was so good. What?
Look out! There's a man over there with a bolt through his head and his teeth are dripping blood and he's got an axe!
Mr. Howard, it's Tony Abbott.
No, behind Tony. Tony. Get out of the way, Tony. Behind Tony.
Where?
Behind Tony. What's the Jaws music? What's the theme music to Jaws?
Oh, dung 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 dung. Yeah.
Can I make a policy announcement?
No, we don't have time, Mr. Howard. Mr. Howard. Shane, I don't think he's got anything to say. No. Yeah, Mr. Howard. Mr. Howard, did you see the UN report on global warming? Mr. Howard. What am I going to do?
I'll frighten myself then.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
That's quite a good policy.